Imagine a world without choices. Imagine you can't make your own decision. That wouldn't be a world for me. That wouldn't be a world for you. You, I see. Tell them we're gonna be stronger. Together, together we can make it right. Our purpose is.
Hi, good night, everyone. Welcome to another edition of UIC Liberty TV. This is Joseph Patterson. I'm supposed to be going live in a few seconds with JAHCHYLD. I think that's the name. And I'm going to need some help from Naika to get on. Let me see how this works here. So I'm on TikTok right now. I'm going in.
This is called
and whoops. Let me see if I can. Oh, whoops. All right, a bit. Okay, hold on. All right, so let me get my expert on screen here to help out. Okay. So I haven't seen the request to connect yet, but I'm sure it's coming up shortly. Oh, I'm being told by Miss Williams that he has just canceled. Now that is very, very bad. That is seriously, that is so embarrassing. Eh? How can you cancel at the last minute? Anyways, the show goes on. I can't believe that. That's unbelievable. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to go live on TikTok at the same time. I'm getting into this TikTok thing, I've not been doing too many TikTok videos. But hello, good night, everyone. Welcome, JMH, for the truth. Kevron, Wealth Builder. Good to see you. Good night to you all. We're going to have an interesting conversation anyways. So we're going to turn this into a Q&A. Naika, could you ask for the UIC phone for me? Just ask Miss P to bring it over for me. That's the 293 number, so I can connect. I don't know why somebody would do that. Why you would schedule something, and then at the last minute, the very last minute, the last second, you now call to cancel. That is very inappropriate. But not everybody behaves appropriately, right? So we learn to deal with that. I want to see if I can go live on TikTok anyway and do both of them at the same time. Yeah, somebody probably bullied him. Eh? He probably got a call from one of those folks to tell him, don't go on a live with that fellow, or whatever that is. But not to worry. We're going to have a Q&A session tonight. We're going to have a jam session. We just talk freely. Whatever topics you want, I will respond. Because sometimes when I do these lives, we don't get around to Q&A very much. We kind of eat up all the time, and then we only have a few minutes left to do Q&A. So tonight, we are going to talk, and you're going to be able to ask just about any question, and I will do my best to answer them for you. Hope you all had a good week this week, and settling in for a good weekend if you're not going to work. But Naika, help me with this. I want to go live on TikTok at the same time. How do I do that? I did it the other day, but I'm not seeing the thing to here we go, live. Okay, that's not working. Yeah, give me some cues there, Naika. How do I do the get on the live here for TikTok?
You would like for me to assist here?
Sorry?
Oh, you would like for me to assist you here? Give you pointers
Sure,
here?
go right ahead. Yeah, no problem. Give me some pointers.
Great. So remember, I was telling you, when you open TikTok, you're on the home page, where at the top you're seeing For You following.
Okay, yes.
All right. In the bottom right corner where you see profile, you click on profile. When you get to that page, at the bottom in the middle, there's a plus sign.
Plus sign, yes.
it's going to take you to a page where you're basically seeing a camera section.
Yeah,
At
I'm
the
seeing
bottom,
myself. Yeah.
okay, at the bottom you scroll where you see camera templates live.
Oh, now she's gone. But I see it right here. I see the live button. So I think we're going to go live. So I'm now
Okay, great,
live on TikTok. Yeah.
wonderful.
So thank you very much. So we're going to go live right now on TikTok as well. Hopefully, I have no other technical difficulties. But good night again. Welcome everyone. I see Dr. Jamaica is on, Christopher Lawrence is on, Charmaine King, Sonia Kildare, uh, Mark Meeks, and Nigo Stoney is on as well. Good night and welcome to all of you. My friends here on TikTok, welcome to all of you as well. This is Joseph Patterson from UIC, president of UIC. Um, Let me try that again here just to make sure. All right. Getting the hang of this TikTok thing. 1, 2, 3, countdown. We're now live here as well. Excellent. All right. So, again, welcome everyone to UIC Liberty TV on YouTube and UIC Jamaica here on TikTok. This is Joseph Patterson, and tonight we're going to have a reasoning where all I'm going to be doing tonight is answering your questions. That's all, nothing else. Whatever you want to talk about, any topic, whether it has to do with politics, economics, personal finance, relationship, mental health. What else can I talk about? And I'm sure Naika will give me some tips in the background to say you can talk about this or that. But whatever you want, I'm here for you tonight. No special presentation, just taking your questions and answering them. Okay? You can also call us. Yeah, the number will be on screen shortly. You can call us at 876-293-0812 if you want to call in and chat with me. So all of you on TikTok, welcome. Good to see you. I'll be switching my view back and forth because on my phone here, I have TikTok going. And on the screen here, I have YouTube going here. So we're just going to chat tonight. I should be on with JAHCHYLD, JAHCHYLD. We made an arrangement to come on tonight for me to do an interview with him. But unfortunately, at the last minute, the very last second, he canceled the show. I don't know why, but I'm going to make sure we have a show anyway, so we can talk one to the other. All right? So who has the first question for us? And remember, you can call into the number 876-293-0812. 876-293-0812. And tonight is absolutely your night. I'm here for you. So while we're waiting for your question, a little bit about me, if you want to probably learn a little about me. So I was born August the 2nd, 1971 in Kingston, Jamaica, downtown Kingston to be exact, a place called Blake Road, yes, close to Beeston Street and close to Hanover Street. So you know it's a fairly rough area. You know, oh, I see a missed call here. How did I miss that call? Just now, let me try again. Oh, my phone wasn't up. Let me try. Anthony Brooks is calling. Good night, Mr. Brooks. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, it's come. Ah, there we go. Christopher Lawrence is asking, will you send back all those Chinese back to China if you win, sir? It's a very good question, Christopher. So we're going to talk about that. What will we do with the Chinese when we're elected? I'm just calling back Mr. Brooks here. He was calling and I didn't hear the call coming in. So,
hello.
Hello, good night, Mr. Brooks. How are you doing, sir?
Good. How about you, Mr. Patterson?
Fine, thank you. I understand you're calling from New Jersey.
Yes, sir. I have a question I would like to ask.
Go right ahead.
Yes. I noticed that in Jamaica right now, I believe they passed a law that we cannot discipline our children no more, and if we do so, we might end up in prison. So, can you elaborate on that, and what are your position on that situation?
Okay, thank you very much. So you want to hang up now
Okay,
and
sir.
I'll comment? All right, no worries.
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
yes. All right.
All right, so there are laws against what, well, first of all, when you talk about disciplining a child, there are more than one ways for you to discipline a child or for you to discipline anyone. One of the ways that has been common in terms of disciplining children has been to spank them. And spanking can take various forms from mild to very aggressive to outright severely brutal. So I would be in favor of any law which protects a child from being physically abused by anyone, parent or not. However, spanking is not the only way to discipline a child. You can discipline a child in various ways. For example, one of the most important ways to discipline your children is to reward them for doing good things and withholding those rewards when they do bad things. It's also important to talk with your children, to have a chat with them so that they understand your value systems and be prepared to explain the reason for your value system. Treat your child like somebody that can understand, that can be reasoned with. And of course, be very firm in when you say no, you must mean no. When you say yes, you must mean yes. You must also be consistent and you must be an example for your child. So lead by example. What you want them to do, make sure you do the same. If you want them to say please and thank you, of course you say the same thing. If you want them to be respectful to you, you must be respectful to them and respectful to other people. And then you must make sure that when you are going to discipline your child, you control yourself. Understand that it's best for you to cool down first. You might be enraged because of what they have done. So just take a break from the moment and collect yourself and then come back to them when you have control of your faculties and go through why you're going to deny them something because of their poor behavior. For example, if the child normally gets to play, a video game or whatever, you say, well, because you have misbehaved here, we're going to withhold the video game for the next 24 hours or whatever, and then, restore it later on and so on. So you don't have to beat your children. I grew up on beatings. My big brother get beaten almost every day. My sister and I weren't so much because we kind of learned from seeing my brother getting so many licks that maybe it's a good idea for us to behave ourselves. But beating is not the best form of punishment. It is used. It has served some degree of good purpose because, a parent who is not skilled at disciplining their child can only resort to beating. But we as a society can take the opportunity to re-educate ourselves, educate our parents, our teachers, and help them to know how to discipline children by understanding the psychology of learning, the psychology of behavior, and all that kind of wonderful stuff. All right. There was another question before. Naika, what was it? Somebody asked a question earlier. The Chinese. Yes, the Chinese. They wanted to know if when we are elected, if we're going to get rid of the Chinese out of Jamaica. First of all, let me say this. The Chinese are not our problem. The Chinese are not our problem. If they're Indians, the Indians are not our problems. If they're Europeans, the Europeans are not our problems. We are our problems. So the Chinese are only here in Jamaica, taking over Jamaica because we allow them to take over Jamaica. If our governments continue to borrow money and waste this money and steal this money and cause us to become broke and dependent, and then have to go and borrow more money and give away our assets to create some semblance of development and growth, then that's our government fault. So it's more important for us to get rid of the problem than to attack other people. So let's not attack the Chinese or attack the Europeans or attack the Indians who come and find a fertile ground here to do business or to take advantage of the stupidity of our politicians. let us point the finger squarely at where it belongs, which is the politicians that have governed our country for the last 80 years. So for the last 80 years, from 1944 until today, Jamaica has been suffering from two political parties consistently wasting our time and wasting our money and stealing our assets and our values, right? So if we want to fix Jamaica, the best thing for us to do, first of all, is to replace those who have destroyed Jamaica. And the PNP and the GLP, they have destroyed Jamaica, and the UIC has taken the time to build a solid plan to restore, or for the first time rather, develop Jamaica into a first-class country that serves the interest of all Jamaicans. All right, next question. And I'm not going to get to all your questions because they're going so fast, right? Somebody says, can you beat the PNP over here on TikTok? Well, that's really up to the Jamaican people. You see, the UIC is not like any of the other two parties, which are controlled by the PSOJ, right? The PSOJ oligarchs, they control the two parties. They give them money so that they can trick us to think we have an alternative. But that means they have millions and millions of dollars to spend. If we want to beat the PNP and the GLP and take back our country and give us a fighting chance to succeed economically and socially, then we have to build a grassroots movement that we, the people, fund and control. If we continue to depend on political parties that are controlled by outside forces, are controlled by the elites in our business society, our business, environment, then they're going to get their way, and the mass of us are always going to be left behind. So what the UIC has done is to create a grassroots political party that you now can join, you can volunteer in, you can vote for it, you can donate to help us elect our candidates, so that when we're finished, you have a movement in charge of your government that's working on your behalf instead of on the behalf of special interest groups. All right, let's take another question from over here on YouTube. What do we have? Let's see. They said you will remove Jamaica from polka. What will you replace it with? What will we replace polka with? I'm kind of stumped by that question. Who said I'll remove Jamaica from polka? I'm not too sure. Could you explain some more on that for me? I don't recall saying we'll remove Jamaica from polka. So give me some more on that, Naika. Next question. Will you leave the WHO, UN when you win? Okay. The UIC will make sure that Jamaica is not a part of any treaty or agreement that undermines the sovereignty of our country or the sovereignty of any citizen of Jamaica. So if there's a treaty with the World Health Organization or the UN that requires us to give some external power the authority to define, for example, what we must do in the case of a natural disaster or in the case of a international global health crisis, then we're going to say no to that. We're not going to sign off on anything that gives away our sovereignty. We must always retain the right to decide what is best for ourselves as a people collectively and as sovereign individuals within that collective. Next question. The next question here is, what will you do about the banking regulations that require JP and dozens of other things to open a bank account? We're going to get rid of that 100%. So when we set up the new banking system, which we call free banking, you're going to have a few things. You're going to have a right to a bank account. So a bank can't turn you down from giving you a bank account. You just have a right for it. Once you have your basic name, address, telephone number, that's it. You are in, and your ID, whatever your ID is, that is validated by the government, you get your bank account. You'll also have many more banking options because we'll no longer have the banking monopolies like we have now. So we're going to get rid of the banking monopoly. But most importantly, and probably more important, we're going to replace the fake or fiat currency with real money. Right now, what you call the Jamaican dollar is fake money. It's fiat money, meaning that it's not backed by anything, and it allows the government and those who print our money, which are people outside of Jamaica, to devalue your currency easily. And that devaluation costs you in so many ways because the value of your money is being diluted so fast that as hard as you work, you're losing value. You can't even therefore save effectively for your retirement because the government is part of a system that is stealing the value of your money as fast as you earn it. So we're going to reverse that by giving you and giving Jamaica real money backed by the productivity of the Jamaican people and stable because it is not being diluted at will by the government or by some external party. And so now you can dig a hole, save 10% of your income in that hole, and 25 years later, when you dig up the money, it will be worth just as much as it did 25 years before. This is phenomenal because right now you can't save for retirement. You have to aggressively invest for retirement. And because you have to aggressively invest for retirement, it means you're open to all kinds of fraud, you're open to all kinds of pains and mistakes because you're not a professional expert, right? So they've put you into a very bad position by creating a fake and fraudulent monetary system, which we're going to undo. Next question. Before I go to that, on this side here, how do you see the BRICS alliance? And do you see Jamaica aligning with this group? All right, so BRICS is a good question. The BRICS alliance is an attempt by a few countries to undermine the US dominance as the world reserve currency. Now, the US dollar as a reserve currency is a key part of the fraudulent monetary system I just spoke about. The US has an unfair advantage over all other countries because of how it evolved to become the world reserve currency holder. It has manipulated that position. It has used that position to violate many countries, and it has weaponized that position against countries. Recently, it did that with Russia. So the BRICS countries, made up of, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America, and others are joining now. They're trying to build a different or a counter system to that, which would then reduce the reliance of the world on the US dollar. I applaud them for doing that. Of course, I know they're not doing that because they love us or care. China is trying to see if it can assert its dominance to topple the US. So we're currently in the middle of a World War III, right? But it's being fought through money and the control of money, economic wars, if you will, that's being fought right now. Plus, you have a miniature one going on between Russia and Ukraine with some serious implications. But the bottom line is, whether it's BRICS or the Western system, the Bretton Woods system, they're all one and the same. They're never going to do what they should really do, which is to decentralize money and allow money to do its real function of providing not only the key elements of money, which is the fungibility, the ease with which you can use it to trade for goods and services, but most importantly, restoring one of the key components of money, which is to be a store of value. It must not be weaponized in any way, shape, or form, which is what Bitcoin attempted to do, to decentralize money, to take away any central authority from being able to use money to manipulate us. Now, as I'm speaking, the global powers are working right now at breakneck speed with the full support of the Jamaican government to bring in the central bank digital currency. Again, remember, it's a currency, so they're going to be able to dilute the value of your money easily by just printing more into existence with no underlying support. They're going to be able to put a time limit on your money if they need to say you must spend it by this time or lose it. They're going to be able to decide by programming your money what you can spend it on, where you can spend it, when you can spend it. So what it means is that for the first time in the history of humankind, your government and whoever is behind the scene controlling it will be able to control practically every area of your life using digital money. So we should be more afraid now than we ever were, because the fact of the matter is our government, the Jamaican government, is fully in cahoots with the powers that be to take away your individual liberty by controlling money through a digital means. So very dangerous. And when they link that with the NIDS, then it's all over. All right. Next question. Will you have a train station to deal with the overpopulation in Kingston? All right. So there are two questions here: overpopulation in Kingston and train station. So what we needed to do and still need to do is to make sure we have a good network of roads across the country that are properly designed, properly maintained, and properly built in the first place, right? So we don't have that because our politicians continue to steal our money and give the work to substandard persons to build roads and to maintain them. So we're suffering every day because of corruption. They're stealing the money that should be building our roads and so on. We have also lost out because we have not built our human capital in terms of our local engineers and civil engineers and architects to build proper roads and design proper roads and to maintain them. So roads is a big part of good governance, and so far our government has failed on roads. Second to that now becomes your public transportation system. What kind of system will you have? Will you have like what we have now, a very ugly, poorly coordinated, in some areas oversupply, in some areas undersupply of buses or taxis, and a disconnect between the fee structure and the cost of operating those vehicles, and a chaotic system? That's what we have now. What the UIC will do is build a solid public transportation system that links rail, ferry, that is the boat system going around the country, taxis and buses in a well-coordinated, structured fashion, similar to our Uber works. So it's all on your phone, so you can tell exactly when and where your next vehicle is going to be, that you can get to go where you need to go. And that, my friend, will indeed affect the overpopulation issue, because people will be able to live in Montego Bay and work in Westmoreland, or live in Westmoreland and work in Clarendon, or live in Clarendon and work in Montego Bay and Kingston and so on, because we're going to make it easy for you to travel and work between the different areas. So we're going to create like a little fishbone. So like a fishbone in the middle, and you have the prongs coming off the edges. So you have a main artery of a high-speed train going from east to west, with a few smaller transit trains or busing routes that picks up and go off into the northern and southern sides of the country, together with a ferry system around the country that allows you to move quickly on water where that makes sense, to get from one point to the next in areas that are easily connected, by the waterways. So a very well thought out, well designed, electronically driven, demographically driven, so we know where's the higher population centers and all of that. Sometimes I have to slow down on talking on these things, because when I do, The next morning, you hear the Prime Minister talking about it as if he has some wonderful plan, which he hasn't. He has not taken the time to carefully think these things out, but they copy what we say, yeah, and repeat them very quickly to you. So bear in mind, I can't say everything I want to say because of that. What's the next question, Madam? What do we have here? Okay, somebody here says, Mr. Beanie says, it's funny that the government has not addressed the chemtrails we spotted in our skies earlier. Yeah, we have a government that is not very responsive enough. They don't seem to respond very quickly to the things that matter to the people. They respond based on political benefits. How can they politically exploit a particular activity, whether it's a young man that they want to go quickly attach themselves to, or somebody saying something popular and they try to co-opt that into their PR structure. But they're not paying attention to the things that are important to you and me. How will the UIC replace the current education system and syllabus? Thank you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. AI My Realist. Okay. How will we replace the current education system? The current education system will be replaced with an Afrocentric system. So right now we are on a Eurocentric, Americanized, very weak education system that fails about 70% of our students every year. So the UIC says, okay, we're going to make the system very different. We're going to create a system that's filled with variety, because every child doesn't learn the same way. Some children need a different type of learning structure. Others need a different, another type. So I want to have an education system that is not a one size fits all, but rather a mosaic of solutions that allows parents to make the choices that they think best for their children. But at the core of this system is the idea of developing the whole person, like the whole human being. So that includes ensuring the child understand themselves, so mind, body, and personality, how to develop a good, solid character, how to take care of themselves mentally and physically so that they can think clearly, think from cause to effect. They can understand how to care for this beautiful body that God has given us, what to eat, when to eat, what to drink, when to drink, how to stay fit, and how to deal with potential medical challenges that might come up, just how to be a healthy person, mentally and physically. So that's one side of it. We call that understanding yourself. The second side of it has to do with understanding people, understanding human behavior, understanding how to build solid relationships, such as good family relations, how to be an effective spouse. Can you imagine you spend so many years in school and when you come out, you don't know how to be a good husband. You don't know how to be a good father. You don't know how to be a good wife. You don't know how to be a good mother. You don't know how to be a good person. You don't know how to relate to people, how to communicate effectively. So you want a school system that really develops the whole person. So master yourself, master you, have a full control over you, and then master how to have effective relationships with other people, how to build solid relationships with other people. And then the last thing you need to make sure you cover in a 3-part education system is to master money. Most of the problems we face across the world today, even between countries, is a lack of knowledge when it comes on to money. The root of all evil, in my opinion, is the lack of knowledge when it comes on to money. So we'll kill for it, we'll work hard for it, and still don't understand it. The fact is, if we understood money, most of the people who we elect as politicians, we never would, because they would not have been able to fool us with the simple, careless promises that they make and then never keep, because we know better. And so our education system will make sure we master those three things: self, people, and money. And then all the other subjects now will be taught in conjunction with this and in an interrelated manner. So you understand the link between physics and the economy and you as a person and your relationship with other people. Chemistry in the same way, biology in the same way, geography in the same way, history the same way, accounting the same way. So if you link all of those subjects and make it real for the student, so we're no longer focused on just passing exams. We're focused on building competences, solid competences. So as a human being, you know how to really contribute. You don't have to be a thief anymore. You don't have to expend your energy on stealing or scamming because you're in full command of your all of your faculties, and you know how to make good decisions, and you know how to add value. And the truth is, those who had the most value in society, except for thieves, make the most with less risk. Thieves can make a lot, but with a lot of risk, like you saw the other day. Those who got caught stealing about what, $160 million or something like that. Amazing. All right, next question. What do we have here? Okay. All right. Another question here. Can we get some from the other people? Kevron, I love your questions, but we need to hear from the other guys too. What are your thoughts on law being pushed? Sorry. What are your thoughts on law being pushed to jail people for posting pictures from accident online? That is the First Amendment violation. All right. I am absolutely opposed to the new law being proposed and pushed by the JLP and PNP to criminalize people for posting graphic images online. That is a violation of free speech. But the truth is, that's just a precursor for what they really want to do. What they want to do is to create laws to allow them to censor us at will. So whatever we're saying online that they don't like, the government wants to be in a position to simply say, shut that down. So for example, if they want to push a medication on us and they don't want us to get to convince each other that maybe it's a bad thing, they just want to lock us off. So this law is really a reflection of the kind of thinking that has permeated the minds of our political leaders. They want to create a society where they get to say what we can say, what we can take into our bodies, when and where we can assemble and associate, to just have complete dominance. They want to dominate our lives. They want to control us. And that is very dangerous. And that's one of the reasons why the UIC exists. We exist to protect your fundamental rights and freedom. Your right to be able to live the life you want to live, as long as you're not hurting other people. Your right to make the choices you think are best for you, as long as you're not violating the rights of other people. And your right to own property. I see where the World, what do they call them again? The World Economic Forum, WEF. They and many of our world leaders are in sync, where they're trying to get us into a form of communist or socialist state where you don't own anything. The government owns you together with big business or big pharma or big data or big tech. They want to be the ones that own everything and we own nothing. So this law to criminalize people for posting pictures is a bad law. It's the wrong law, and it's a violation of our basic human rights. And we need to push back on it, and we need to completely oppose it and stop them from doing it. Next question. Will UIC expand the police force and rebuild police stations? Howard Foster. All right, so it's not even so much about expanding. So the way the UIC look at policing is one of the most important function of government. What is the purpose of the police force. The way it's used right now is it's almost like an instrument of government to carry out whatever objective they have. But that's not the purpose of a police. A police service, the purpose of a police service is to protect the rights of citizens. So the UIC is going to change Jamaica from having a police force to having a police service. What's the difference? Right now, they say the police is to serve and protect. Well, in the UIC's approach, the police is not only to serve and protect, but to respect. So I want the police to respect every citizen equally. So whether you are president or pauper, you must be served in the same way by the police. And the police must focus on protecting you from anyone using force or fraud to violate the right to your life, to your liberty, or to your property. So we're going to retrain the police to become more sensitive to dealing with the real issues, which is people trying to violate your rights. Not the police itself now becoming a violator of your rights. So when the police come and talk to you in a coarse, rough, disrespectful manner, they're violating your rights. They're not serving you. So I want to change that. The police must become your servant and not some kind of brute force authoritarian figure. Similarly, we have to make sure the police becomes a community-driven entity again, or for the first time. So we have to make policing a community initiative, whereby the police lives in the community, is a part of the community, is growing up with the children of the community, is respected by the people in the community because of the role he or she plays as a social worker, not just something to be afraid of, but a social worker who is involved in helping the parents, helping the teachers, helping the nurses, in caring for the society, caring for the community, caring for the children in that community, and getting them to see the police as their friend, not as a foe, not as an enemy, but as a friend that's a part of the community and is there to help you. So in that vein, the police helps to prevent crime rather than just simply going after criminals, but helping to prevent crimes, and then having the tools to effectively investigate crimes and bring them to a successful trial, that justice is served. Not that we just scrape up people off the road because you look like you should be there and then take you and lock you up for a few days. No, I mean really seeking to prevent crimes and bringing justice where justice needs to be served, as part of the justice system, not as executioner, but as the first line of defense to properly identify, investigate, report, limit the possible impact of whatever crime has been committed, and then facilitating the courts where appropriate to complete the process of adjudicating the matter, right? So, next question. On TikTok here, let me see what kind of questions I have so far. It says here, why is there a limit? Oh, can I get back to that one? Let me see. Why is there a limit on our workforce? Currently, people are only allowed one job in 2023. I'm not sure about that. I wasn't aware that you're only allowed one job. Can somebody fill me in on that? I'm not aware that you're allowed only one job. I think you can have as many jobs as you want, provided somebody's willing to hire you and you have enough time in the day to do it. Okay, how will the UIC deal with our children prison, aka children home? All right. Well, first of all, the UIC's mission is to ensure that we protect the rights of every individual citizen. Of course, that includes our children, our senior citizens, those who are mentally or physically disabled, and of course, all those who are in, good physical and mental standing. we want to ensure that we try as best as possible to address the problem very early of our human capital. We have been very careless as a country about our people, and you see the result. Right now in Jamaica, we have been accumulating substandard citizens, accumulating them, right? And what I mean by that is we have an education system that fails 70% of our students every year, minimum. If you keep failing 70% of every 100 students that comes in, then that's 70 on top of 70 on top of 70 every single year. That's a very big development. Now, the 30% that are somewhat okay in terms of having enough subjects to suggest that they have completed a reasonable course or period in high school. From that 30%, at least 50% or more quickly leave the country. They're absorbed into other countries to help to build those countries. So right now, Jamaica has about 4 million Jamaicans in the diaspora, many of them contributing in outstanding ways to the development of other countries, because our country has made them into economic refugees. Our government have failed to provide an environment that is conducive to decent living, conducive to earning a reasonable income. And so many Jamaicans, as soon as they finish, school, whatever level, the moment they get a chance to leave, they leave. So if they finish university, they're gone. So we're accumulating, therefore, a large number relative to a smaller number of somewhat competent individuals, a large number of less competent individuals, a large number of undereducated individuals, a larger number of individuals who have not been given the kind of education they need to be as productive as they possibly could have been. This means we end up with many families where the parents are not really equipped to be parents, but they are parents and they have these children in their homes. So you have a parent who is a substandard individual by virtue of education, poor education, also poor health. For example, many of us grew up not eating well, especially today. You're eating more junk food. Your mother may have, her breast milk may have been substandard because of the kind of nutrition that she subsisted on. That's passed on to the child. The child makes poor blood. And not getting the kind of food that is going to develop the brain properly, so learning becomes a problem. When they go to school, the teacher is also impacted by the fact that they're low wage. The teachers are not being paid very well, so the teacher might be struggling to pay her mortgage, to pay her student loan, to pay for her car if she has one, pay for things for the family. And so the teacher might be also distracted and is not able to give the kind of attention necessary, especially when the majority in her class might be severely challenged. Like if you have a class of 30 students and 25 of them are challenged, that's quite a challenge for you as a teacher. So you have, greater indiscipline in the classroom, the teacher having problems with her own personal or his own personal finances, maybe having problems at home with their own children and husband. And so you have a bit of a challenge now in the classroom. This is together with what's happening in the home, right? Remember, many of these parents are not parents. They're not trained to be parents. They're not equipped to be parents. And so, whoops, I missed that. I saw someone trying to join me here. So they're not equipped to be parents. And because they're not equipped to be parents, they're passing on these bad attributes to their children. And these children now themselves graduate as part of that 70% failure rate, who then also have children. And that leaves us now with a huge problem. What do we do with children who have been somewhat damaged because of all of this. You put them in a children home, who will be the caregivers? Are the caregivers properly trained, properly vetted? Is the home itself being properly run? Is it just a way for somebody to make a money, or is it designed to really meet the needs of these children who are brought into these children homes? Yeah, are they being abused just as much or more than if they were living with their living in whatever other condition they were in? Who are the persons charged with inspecting these children homes? What kinds of checks and balances do you have in place to ensure that the homes are being, you know, regulated properly, monitored properly? Now, you all know Jamaica. We all know Jamaica. I mean, Jamaica, almost nothing goes right here. Almost nothing runs right. There's no, point me to one government agency that's being run properly, and that will be one too many. Yeah, because most of our social programs are only social programs on paper. They're not being run properly. They're not being run in a way that we can be proud of. And so we have a lot of serious problems. But all of this stems from one core problem. That core problem, bad governance. Bad governance. And when you don't have good governance in a country, all the other systems begin to fail. And so far in Jamaica, everything has failed. Point me to one area of success. If you look at our government, they have failed on every level. Transportation, failure. Education, failure. Healthcare, failure. Agriculture, failure. Airline, failure. Airport management, failure. Road construction, maintenance, design, failure. So you have to wonder, what is even the purpose of having a government? Because our government fails at just about everything. They can't keep us safe. They can't provide a clean society. They can't provide good public order without mistreating and just, yeah. So anyway, why is there, again, the question is being asked about this workplace limit. I don't know what that is about, my friend. I have no idea how to answer that question. Okay. How will the UIC create the quantum shift and aid in public sector workers thriving economically? That's a question from Tony Ann, Tamara Baker. How will we create a quantum shift? So the problem is we kind of dissect our country into like public sector workers and different sets of workers. But really, why aren't we looking at our entire country? I love the way Singapore has handled its affairs. All of the country is important and all of the workers are important. And the quality of life of the entire nation is important. And that's the way I like to look at it as well. I want to have a quantum shift whereby we have a government that respects all of the people all of the time in every way possible. And so what does Jamaica need for it to be successful? First and foremost, you need good governance to ensure your tax dollars are spent optimally to provide the kind of environment we all need to be successful. And there are some basic things for that to happen. Number one, if you have good government, you have a safe environment. It means your police is properly trained, properly equipped, and properly paid. And so the police does its work very well. So your environment, when it comes on to policing, is very safe. If the government does its work well, by not stealing your money or entering into corrupt arrangements to steal your money, you're going to have a very clean environment. Your roads are going to be well designed, well built, and well maintained. You'll have sidewalks. You'd have street lights. every single citizen would have a fixed address. We'll all have a proper national ID that is not driven by outside forces, but we ourselves would have developed what is important for us, not to control our people, but to facilitate good public order. Yeah? We would have an education system where teachers are highly respected, highly trained, highly equipped to ensure that every child is given the best opportunity to succeed, beginning from the prenatal stage. So in a country where the government cares about building a strong, robust economy where the citizens can enjoy a decent standard of living, they're going to want to make sure every child that comes into this world has a great opportunity at success. So you want to help the mothers and the fathers to be equipped to be parents. You want to ensure the child is properly nourished pre-birth, at birth, and all the way through until they become an adult. You want to ensure that the school system is not geared simply towards job seeking, but preparing every child to become a well-rounded, very disciplined, highly intelligent, very informed citizen to be able to participate in building a solid society. So when you have a good government, your school system really works. And instead of you failing 70% of the students every year, you're passing 90% or 95% or 98%. You'll always have some who are not going to be able to keep up under any circumstances. That's a part of life. But you can build a system that truly seeks to bring out the best in all of our children. Yeah? And so if you have your school system working, if you have your education system working, if you have your public order, your cleanliness, your safety in place, and you make sure you build what I like to call a preventive healthcare system. So not a healthcare system which says, which allows you to just get sick and then come and seek medication or surgery. Instead, you link your healthcare system with your education system, both public education from the government and education in the schools, so that your citizens have a good understanding of themselves, of their bodies, their minds, their biology, so that they can be a key player in managing their own health because they're properly educated about themselves. You also want to invest in ensuring your people understand remedies that are local to us, so we're not just importing medication. So we have learned how to use our bush, our herbs, our methods that we have, probably learned from years and years ago from our parents in Africa. But let us invest in being, self-sufficient and independent. So we're not depending solely on, foreign powers to produce products and then we just buy them. Let us build our own, cultivate our own, experiment with our own products and build our own products. Teaching our people how to care for their bodies so that they have less reliance, how to eat properly, helping us to understand, the kind of diet, not these superficial general ideas. I mean, really understand. Right? So with that, we can make a big difference. Do we have any more questions on the on YouTube here? Let me see. Another question I'm seeing here is, what are we doing with foster care system in Jamaica and the negligent children? What are we doing? We're doing very little. We're not doing a good job as a nation in managing foster care and neglect of our children. Again, I prefer a preventative method. Let us work with our parents up front and help our children up front coming out of school to have the constitution they need, to manage themselves well so that we don't have too many children in foster care. And then, of course, when we do have foster care, we have to have the means to care for it. It's properly regulated and so on. Any other questions? What will the UIC do about the lack of rural infrastructure? We will make sure that we have an infrastructure network that is equal across the country, rather than having what we have now, which is this kind of rural versus urban dichotomy. I don't believe in that. I think we should treat all of Jamaica, and all Jamaicans as equal. So we need to have a 14 parish development plan where we develop all 14 parishes and stop calling places rural. We just have one Jamaica, and what you have is good roads throughout that one Jamaica, and good parks and markets, good community centers, good schools, good hospitals, good clinics. Just all around good infrastructure across. For example, in most communities across Jamaica, you don't have a play area for children. I mean, a well-designed, well-maintained play area for the toddlers and for the kindergarten and the primary school level kids to play in. You don't have a good park or a good public space that's well maintained and open to the public across all of the parishes and communities within those parishes. They don't have that. What we want to see is like what you have at Emancipation Park, plus more, in all parishes, in all constituencies, in all divisions, as they call them, across the country. You must have good quality community centers where people can go and learn. Even if you're an adult, you can go there. There's a good library. There are resources for you to access and use to build your skills, to upgrade your knowledge, to just go online and chill out with your friends and your family. Beautiful botanical gardens for you to just go and enjoy. I think it's going to make such a big difference when you have a Jamaica where the government actually start to care about the people, not about just some GDP number and, oh, we're doing great because, no, I mean, really doing great. Doing great when you walk around. When I drive from Santa Cruz to my house, all I see is poverty from Santa Cruz all the way up to Braze River, to the road to Elam, the road from Elam to Bogue. It's just poverty. People living in poverty. That's all I see. You see incomplete homes, coarse homes, poor looking yards, and the whole place just looked depressing. Now, I'm fortunate because I live in a decent home. I was able to build myself a decent home, but just far too many people are living in just low, just not the level that we should be living at. And I find our politicians are quite comfortable with that. They love keeping these people the way they are. So I want to embark on a massive transformation program where you don't see those zinc fences anymore. You don't see those half-finished, incomplete houses anymore. You don't see those low-quality homes dotting the place anymore. We help our people to get out of that shock mindset and get out of that incomplete economic position that we're in and build some quality homes across the country and build a solid economy to support that. And we have so many ways to do that. I mean, one of the easiest ways for you to get money into every economy, every community, is by converting all of Jamaica into a tourist destination, all of it. So you're no longer looking at this spot is a tourist area or that spot is a tourist area, but the entire Jamaica becomes a tourist destination. And you're building that not for the tourists, but for the people of Jamaica. And then you're making it open to people from outside coming in. And when they come in now, they are spending their money at the grassroots level of our society with the people on the ground, not in some big establishment that's owned by foreign interests and then the money just kind of flip out of the country so quickly. We have to bring it home. So if we as a people decide that we're going to build our local tourist industry at the community level, community tourism, grassroots tourism, and make the area clean, beautiful, and peaceful so that we can get the tourists in every area of the country to enjoy all the flavors of Jamaica and to spend that money directly with the Jamaican people and to buy the products of the Jamaican people, the food that we produce and cook, the music that we produce and share, the entertainment that we can produce and give, and let that happen at the local level. And then if you couple that now with the UIC's plan for massive organic farms across the country, whereby we're shifting now from bad agriculture to good agriculture, yeah? And you move now to a system of organic farming where we develop our understanding, the science behind it, the systems, the structures, and we become the world leading producer of organic foods and vegetables and ship that to the rest of the world and build those solidly across the country. So again, now you have farming becoming a mainstay, our key driver, our key economic driver. And you link that with tourism. And then now you get into water harvesting and you build an industry around water, a massive industry where we not only supply ourselves, but now we can supply water to other countries, to other people, a major industry. And we also get involved in the renewable energy industry on a scale where we are manufacturing, we are assembling, we're designing. We become an expert at that area and become able to generate income from all of the different segments of renewable energy, whether it's solar, biogas, or geothermal, or wind, or hydro, whatever we can, we get into that. All right, next question. Sorry. What plan you have to modify trade for lower class of business people? All right. Some of these questions are really hard. Eh? What plans do you have? The secret to trade for the lower class of business people, I hate to say things like lower class, but you have micro enterprises, you have small and medium enterprise, and you have big business. Most of the regulations we have in Jamaica are designed for big business. They're designed to protect big business by pushing out small and micro enterprises. And the way you do that is by making it very difficult, create layers upon layers of requirements. You make it difficult for them to, be able to navigate these regulations. And so you stifle them and you give big business a stronger hold on the economy. And that has been working quite well for the PSOJ oligarchies. So they want to maintain that system. So we're going to break down the barriers to entry, break down the regulations that are preventing small businesses from being able to fully access markets, fully access capital, and be able to sell products at the scale and level that the market wants, as opposed to having artificial, preventions by government. Next question. Invite. So there we go. Yes. Without revealing too much, what would be your approach to the lack of immigration reform and security of it? Tony Negos is asking. So we're getting somebody here. Hi, hello, how are you doing? Who is this? Randy? Welcome, Randy. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining the live. You want to ask a question?
Yeah, well, I'm a Jamaican living in Toronto.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, I've been to Jamaica like almost a month now, just for vacation. So I've not been home for like 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Things that it's really changed for the past 3 years down there,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
It is very high.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Where in Jamaica were you from?
I'm from Westmoreland.
Westmoreland, okay. And so you're now living where?
In Toronto.
Oh, Toronto, right, Toronto. Well, I used to live in Toronto. So you're saying when you came back the other day and visit, you were disappointed with what you saw?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
And
home is always the home, and you like to see things getting like better,
yeah.
during like a certain time span, as
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not seeing things getting any better?
No, I'm not seeing any like drastic like improvement or things like that.
Mm-hmm. And how old are you? How old are you?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm like 41 right now.
41, okay. So in your 41 years as a Jamaican, are you, if you were to rate the governments, because it's more than one government, it's been, if you were to rate the governments from the time of your birth until now, 41, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 mean they've done a perfect job and 1 mean they've done a lousy job, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate the governments of Jamaica for the last 41 years? Sorry?
Oh, it's my daughter making a lot of
Okay, no worries.
Thank you. Yeah, so you said that I heard about like when you said how much would I rate them, right?
Yes.
Like both sides during my 41 years. That's what you asked me, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Well, to be honest, right, I wasn't there for all these times because I used to like travel, like go to small islands and come back, back and forth and
Mm-hmm.
But over like how I would rate them is like, probably like a four out of 10.
Okay, 4 to 10.
Yeah.
And do you have a preference for any of the two?
Well, basically, well, I wouldn't even say the party, but in all of that, my favorite person was Mr. Manley.
Okay. And why was he your favorite person?
Yeah, because he did a lot. Like me growing up, I heard a lot of things about him, like what he did, and he opened doors to certain things and certain opportunities, like what we presently like have back then till coming up. So like he's my favorite person, but all around that, the both of them are like in the same type of thing, like the same boat, same type of thing, right? Yeah, but overall, he's my favorite person. As I see stand out and he did what he could. Like that's how I see it.
Right. Yeah. Understood. I'm sure my mother would agree with you. I'm sure my mother would agree with you. I have a different opinion, but I do understand where you're coming from. With that for sure. In terms of the current government now, what do you see? Can you identify any good thing that the current government has done?
You mean like the one in now?
Yes, the government in place now. Can you identify any good thing that they've done?
No, I can't identify anything right now. But like, no, I couldn't say that.
Yeah,
No.
me neither. I can't identify any either. I was just wondering if you could see any. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to trust myself to say I'm the only person that can see, but I am not seeing anything. I'm going to have another person join us. 1 second. Let me see if we can get Marie on. Marie wants to join us. Hold on, Randy. Don't leave. Let me see if she can join us.
All right. Okay.
1 second here. Yeah. Okay, I'm pressing it, but I'm not quite seeing it change over yet, but hopefully it will.
Oh.
But yes, so do you plan to return to Jamaica to live at some point?
Like to come back and live there?
Yes.
Well, all right. So yes, I would, but and at the rate of how like the country is at this time, like I don't see it like in the future, like at the rate that it always going now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? But, yeah, I would like to, but at the rate that how things are going, I don't see it at this time.
Right. So you would you agree with me then that you are an economic refugee in another country?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And as an economic refugee, would you like to have? Let me rephrase that. The UIC's position is that all Jamaicans should be allowed to vote in our elections, whether they live in Jamaica or not. Do you agree with that?
Yes, of course.
Right. And the reason why we say that is because, while they can buy the Jamaican at home because they keep us hungry and dependent, they can't buy the Jamaican abroad because they're a little bit more financially independent. That's all.
Yes, it's true. Yeah.
Mm. So you agree with the UIC position that we should make it so that all Jamaicans can vote remotely and register to vote remotely from any country there are in the world, even if they have dual citizenship, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I wonder if everybody agree with us. I'm not seeing any objections written in yet from anyone, but please let us know if you agree. So the UIC's position is that, we want for the diaspora to be treated as Jamaicans. So once you're a Jamaican citizen, if you live in Greece, Germany, USA, you name it, doesn't matter where you live, you must have the right to vote by absentee ballot in every election in Jamaica. And on top of that, we also want to make sure that when you're coming back home, you can do so duty-free, meaning you bring back all that belongs to you and you don't have to pay any additional taxes when you're coming into Jamaica with what belongs to you. How do you feel about that, Randy?
Yes, absolutely. That's right. That's the way to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the way to go. That actually encourages, it encourages you.
Yeah, make you feel like you're a part of the family.
Yeah, that enables you to push to be more confident at what you're doing and to do it at your best.
Exactly. And so you know that when you're coming home, no hassle, you just bring back your stuff and you can carry on with your life. Now, I see when a person bring back their valuables to Jamaica, they're about to contribute to our economy. They're going to help to build the economy. You don't need to try to extort them at the border. Trying to extort them at the border. So the other thing we want to do for the diaspora as well, the UIC's position is that you should be able to run for public office even if you have dual citizenship. Right now, the way it's set up, if you have US citizenship, you can't run for office in Jamaica. But if you have Canadian citizenship, you can run for office in Jamaica because you're a part of the Commonwealth. Well, the UIC said, no, let's make it open to all Jamaicans. So whether you are a US citizen or a British citizen or a Canadian or German or Swiss, you should be allowed to run for office in Jamaica. And the reason for that, of course, provided you return, of course, you have to return to the country, right? Now, but the reason for that is many people who take out citizenship in other countries did so because there were economic refugees there. And for them to take full advantage of that country, they needed to take out citizenship as well. And so they did that, not because they generally wanted to, but because we run them out of Jamaica. We have caused millions of persons to be living overseas because the government of Jamaica failed the people of Jamaica over the last 80 years that they have been in power. Do you agree?
Yes, I do agree. Yes, sure.
Wonderful. I wonder if the other people online agree with us. Let me see here. Somebody says true. Somebody says I agree with that too. It no matter. Another person, yep. Reynolds Production says, was Siaga born in Jamaica? No, he wasn't. He wasn't born in Jamaica. He was born in the US, I believe, yeah, to some Syrian parents. But outside of that, my contention is that if we want to reverse the brain drain that we have suffered over the last 80 years of the PNP and JLP, we need to embrace all Jamaicans. We don't have any space to be rejecting some of our fellows. We need to open the net as wide as possible to incorporate as many Jamaicans as possible, to get them involved in helping to save the country. So I want us to harness the skills, and there are many bright Jamaicans, you see, overseas, because we run with all the bright people in the middle. Most of our bright people was run out of the country. So we have Jamaicans who are engineers, scientists, chemists, economists, brilliant psychologists, sociologists, master teachers and educators across the world, brilliant doctors and nurses. And what the UIC wants to do is to say, you are just as much Jamaican as any Jamaican living here on the rock. So see this as your country, see this as your family, and let's get together and create that better Jamaica. Let's not make it difficult for any Jamaican to come home or to participate fully in the economy and the politics of Jamaica. The only people who are afraid of allowing the diaspora to get fully involved in Jamaica are those who want to keep Jamaica the way it is. Because the moment we open up Jamaica to the diaspora is the moment we're going to be forced to change into something better, because the politicians won't be able to just manipulate the small mind that they have created among us here, right? Because many Jamaicans who have never left the country may not fully appreciate the kind of changes that needs to be made now to bring their standard of living up. They have become used to this low level because they've been made to accept this low level. And what we have to do now is to bust the gate, fly it open, and bring to bear on our politics this wider, broader set of minds. So when the politicians are now talking to us, they're not just talking to some people that they have kept poor, marginalized, and suffering economically, and can trick them up by offering them a goat or a zinc or a block or some cement. Now they have to speak at a level and act at a level that they're talking to people who have been exposed to more than the goat giveaway or the rum giveaway. You understand? And so it's going to force them and force Jamaica to move in a more modern, upstanding direction, because the politician can be held accountable by the 4 million Jamaicans abroad who will not accept the low standard to which they have forced the local Jamaicans to accept and live at. That's my thinking. That's the rationale of the UIC, why we want to open up Jamaica to all Jamaicans. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
I wonder if our other viewers agree. Let me know if you agree. Type yes, someone can know if you agree with what we're saying. It'd be good to know, because this is we want to really make Jamaica into a first-class country. And we can't do that if we allow the PSOJ oligarchs to continue to fund these two parties, to trick the people into staying at the low level that they have kept us at for the last 80 years and counting. We can't afford to let them keep us there any longer. The UIC was designed, you see, to make sure that we have a political party which is owned by you, Randy. It's owned by you. It's owned by every Jamaican. Right now, the two parties, you may not know this, but the two colonial parties, they are funded, controlled, and owned by a few wealthy business elites in Jamaica that I call the PSOJ oligarchy. Yeah? And so these guys, these rich dudes that, and I have nothing against them being rich. I'm just saying that they're using their money to influence our politics, to keep Jamaica the way it is. And they must be doing it because you would not fund something you don't agree with. So they have been funding these two parties from the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, right down to the 20s now, 2023. And so they've been funding them, which means they must agree with them. They agree with what they're doing. So the UIC is saying, no, let us now fund our own party. So that's why the UIC is a grassroots party. We now are funded by the people of Jamaica. So you must fund us. All of us, myself included, we have to donate our time, our talent, and our money to the movement and help to create a political party, a political movement where we, the people, own it. So it's of the people, it's by the people, and it's for the people. So we have to do that together. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that? Yeah, what do you think about that? Okay, we can't hear Randy anymore. I see Buju here want to join. Is it the real Buju? Let's see. I'm pressing the. All right, Randy, you can hang up now, and I'm going to take on some other persons here. Thanks for joining again here. All the best.
All right. Okay. Yeah, man. All right. Take care.
Take care, man. My pleasure. Respect.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see if we can get on this other person here, which calls himself Buju. All right, but it's not connecting. I don't know why it's not connecting here, but okay. And here's another one who wants to join as well. So I am clicking invite, but I'm not quite seeing you. 1 second. Hello, good night. Welcome, Mr. McDonald.
It was a live UIC tonight.
Yeah, man, we're live. We're live and direct. How you doing?
Okay, well, I'm fine. I'm thanks for Chicago.
Yeah, man, give thanks. So what do you want to talk about tonight?
Yeah, I called you earlier, I really live in Canada.
Oh, you're in Canada too? Okay, respect. Where in Canada are you?
I'm in Toronto, man.
Toronto. All right. How is it now? I hear that yesterday had some good weather, but today kind of cool, right?
No, man, today we have lovely weather right now. We're actually naked in our house.
All right, respect. Okay, so today is when you get good weather. So it's tomorrow you're going to go back down to the single digits.
Yeah, we're getting real good weather.
Okay. All right, so we want to talk about tonight. What, you have a question or a comment?
What we I did call some you know, and because I really want to be a member of the UIC.
Okay. So you want to be a member and you want to know how to do that?
I want to know how to become a member.
All right, wonderful. You can go on our website and click on the link that says join. I think it is. Let me just check it here right now so I can tell you exactly. There's a link there. If you go to uicjamaica.com and then you'll see where it says register, sign in. You click on that, and from there you can sign up for your membership, sir. And I'm very happy to hear this. Welcome to the family.
Yes, I want to sign up for membership, so it's not saying it.
Excellent, excellent. You're breaking up a bit, but I'm looking forward to you joining, and I hope you can encourage all of your family and friends to do the same thing.
Yeah, because I'm originally from my house in Portmore. That's where I live. Right?
Okay. In Portmore.
Living here in Toronto, and I find out what you're doing right now is very important because Jamaica people mind to be decolonized. Understand?
Yes. Yeah.
Because we can't just keep jumping out of friend and jumping into fire.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. They have us on a seesaw. The seesaw between two sides of the same coin, and the time has come for us to change that. We can't continue to be, seesawing between. We can't keep seesawing between JLP and PNP and getting the same result. It's time for something new.
And the saw is getting very serious. The saw is about to cut now deep into the flesh of the people in order for the colonial achievement. It's because they're hurting up the weapons now on every angle in order to achieve their goal.
Absolutely.
One period of time, you see?
Yeah.
Over a period of time, they have been trying to totally take over the mind of the people. And it is, if we have government who does not recognize the plight and right of the people, who can be bribed around the corner, then the people will be serious. The people can be in serious jeopardy. So it's a very serious time now, and it's a important role here because we're really truly this third party right now.
Yeah, man. It's I hope people understand the seriousness of what the UIC is trying to achieve. We're never going to have a change from these two parties unless we, the people, own the party. And here's the trick. You might have another third party come along. 1, 2, 3. We must ask ourselves the question, who is funding them? Because whoever is funding them, that's who they're working for. Don't let them fool you and come and tell you they can solve all the problems in the world without you funding them. Because if you don't fund them, whoever is funding them will be controlling them. And that's what the Jamaican people have to wake up to right now. We have to wake up and understand, for the first time in our history since Marcus Garvey, this is our second opportunity. We failed Marcus Garvey when we did not follow through on what he started. We allowed these two colonial parties working with the media and working with the plantocracy to kick out Marcus Garvey and kick out the one true political movement that was for the people. We allowed the PNP and JLP to work with the media then, and the elites, the business elites then, called the plantocracy, to kick him out. Now, Marcus Garvey is back again in us, the UIC movement, saying, people rise up and let us take charge of our destiny again. This is a second opportunity, okay? Let us now fund our own party. Let us fund it, and let us own it, and let us control it, so it will work for us, and not for the plantocracy or for the PSOJ oligarchy or for the colonial powers behind the scenes. Let us make sure this party now works for us and us alone. But for that to happen, we have to fund it.
Yes, we have to fund it, and whenever we fund something, we are the one who own it. We make the
Yes.
decisions that are being made
Absolutely.
for the betterment of the people.
Yeah.
I really have this issue with Brother Patterson is that lots of us in Jamaica, from Jamaica, we have a sense of history, but a lot of Jamaican people do not have a real sense of history. As you know, there's new generation come along, and the older ones like me, you know, because I'm 64-year-old, so I have a sense of history.
Yes.
I knew what happened to the Rastas during Carol God, because my uncles them were Rastas in Spanish now. Were really good. Because we speak about Marcus Garvey, but there's another man we supposed to spoke about, you know, Leonard Howell.
Yes, man.
Leonard Howell.
Yes. Up at what a Pinnacle. Yes.
Yeah,
And you know, most Jamaicans, like the vast majority of us, especially, they know nothing about Howell. They know nothing about even Marcus Garvey. You know, they only know about the name and some general. They don't understand what really happened. What was Garvey doing? What was Howell doing? What did Buster do in 1966 to the Rastas in Coral Gardens? We that is lost to us. Anybody voting right now and voting for JLP, for example, let me just focus for a moment on JLP. Anybody I lost him. Anybody, let me just say this to you clearly. Anybody who votes for the JLP, and I'm speaking clearly now, I'm not talking about PNP, I already spoke about them. It makes no sense to vote PNP. But anybody who is voting for the JLP, do you know that the JLP, under Bustamante, the JLP commanded that Rastas be brought in dead or alive and caused the massacre of a number of Rastafarians because the government of the day decided that they were less than, that they did not fit the bill to be considered Jamaicans with rights to be respected. Yeah, welcome back, Mr. McDonald.
Yes, I get you back.
Yeah, I was just explaining, you see, to our viewers. I was explaining to our viewers that there's no way a person can know the history of the JLP and vote for the JLP. What they have done to Rasta in Coral Gardens and what they have done from even what they did in 1962 when they stole that large amount of money from our school system and built half the number of schools for twice the cost and steal that money. And what they did in the 70s and the 80s, causing some 800 persons to be murdered in this country. And how they sell out oh my gosh, man. You cannot know these things and decide you're going to join, volunteer, fund, or vote for the JLP. Yeah, go ahead.
No, and I don't really mean to cut you, because for those of us who really read and understand history, you must remember Sligo Field was like a refuge point for the people. Because what happened? The Rasta people during those times, they were some of the most progressive people in Jamaica. They make their own clothes. They plant their own food. They make their own shoes. They have their own bakery in Pinnacle. So what really happened now? Because they were so independent, and they were whatever Rasta was saying, which was love, it was thinking deep into the society, and they didn't want that to happen. So what happened now? They had also tear down Pinnacle. So every day, because if you understand it, Sligo Bill is one of the first free states in Jamaica from the British colonized state. Sligo Field. So what really happened now? There was a place called Pinnacle. It was a refuge. It's not just Rastas neither. It was just a place for poor people in general. As you know, Leonard is not a dreadlocks.
Right, he wasn't, yes.
He wasn't, and you're a Rasta man, you're not a dreadlocks, because if whoever is looking out for the plight of the people, whomever is trying to serve the people with prudence and fortitude and justice, these are the people who are truly godly people. Anybody, any man you see come on, I'm trying to educate the people. As long as you start to educate the people, right there, you start to feed their soul the substance they need to survive.
Yeah.
So anybody understand any little thing about ancient Kemet and Timbuktu and about ancient Egypt and what it was about, they will know now that a savior come. Because after you study now the history of the people who was dead for over 70 years or more, and the people is in the same position or worse.
Yeah.
And the people are totally on decline. You can't see now where the people are rising. They're totally on decline. Then any people who see that they're on a total decline and they don't want to change from the process that caused the declination, then these people, I don't know what else I could say. So I have to support what they're doing.
So, Marcus Garvey said something which has stuck with me from I was a boy until now. He said, any leadership that would lead you to depend upon another race is a leadership
that will enslave you.
Yes. And that stuck with me, I mean, for pretty much all my life. And every time, I remember when I was a boy and they used to come back from abroad and say how much money they get to borrow. And I used to see my mother and others celebrating. And I said, Mommy, why are you celebrating? You realize that when you go abroad and you're borrowing from these people, you're really enslaving yourself.
Yes. because you see, Marcus Garvey was a full educated, philosophical person who understand that the human mind, if it is developed in a certain way, to depend on you as an institution, as an individual, then your goal is not far-fetched, but if you're going to depend on the mind, think about your mind.
Hold on one second. Hold on. Oops. Okay. Sorry.
And your mental frequency and the enjoyment of what you can develop as an inspiration. Nobody else can do that for you. Marcus Garvey already know those things.
Absolutely. If we had just listened and followed where he was leading us. And by the way, he's not perfect, we're not saying that he was a holy man who knew all the answers. But if we followed his direction, as opposed to the one that we allowed these two colonial parties to take us on, we would be 150% better off than we are today. For one, our education system would have been Afrocentric and would have brought out the best in our people. Our industries would have been developed and owned by us as a people. Our country would have a net positive export over import, would be exporting more than we imported. We would be water secure, food secure, and energy secure if we had followed the Marcus Garvey plan. But because we followed the plan given to the two colonial parties by the colonial masters and supported by the plantocracy of the day, which is the PSOJ oligarchy of today, we end up with a broken, miserable, and psychologically damaged society that will take tremendous amount of leadership to reverse.
And then, yes, Brother Patterson, that's perfectly true. But just listen to the term of the name, private sector organization. Anything that is private, it's not publicly really involved. It only funds a system so it can manipulate the system and have total control over the prosperity of the people.
Yeah, the system that we have, even the political system that we have embraced, Mr. McDonald, it's a system of division. So the very constitution is designed for you to have a government and an opposition. So it's telling you the way for you to have good government is for you to be adversarial and at each other's throat and fighting each other. That's what they said you must have that if you're going to have good government. And that is wrong. You don't want to build a government based on two sides fighting. And I'll give you an example why. Have you ever seen a company, a good company, an effective company, a wealthy company, where they set up a board of directors and they split the board of directors into two halves and say, you are for the company leadership and you are to sit there and oppose the company leadership? Have you ever seen a company run that way? No company runs that way, because that's self-destruction. The only reason you have a divided governance is because you want to keep the people distracted and fighting each other while you go around the back and thief out all of the wealth. You understand?
But you know why the school of it, why it
Yes.
is like that. 90% of the people on the planet are conquered people.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's normal. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Remember, it's not like when we ancestors were fighting,
Hold on.
British, we didn't bond it, so we didn't have any chance to choose in the outcome of the circumstance.
Yes.
Right?
Hold on one second. There's another
So
person.
really happened,
Hold on one
you
second.
study the monarchical government of the world and study every history. If you go to every country in Africa, they were colonized. In 18
Hold on one sec. Yes, my brother. Welcome. How are you? Sorry, I can't hear you. Say that again.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Wonderful. Fine. Thank
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yeah, man. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Richard Sleem. I'm calling from Florida.
Wonderful, Richard. What can we do for you today, or what you want to do for us?
You know, just listening to you guys speak about Jamaica,
Yes.
you, Mr. Patterson, you're basically standing up for what all of us Jamaicans want to. A lot of us just don't have the time, or we don't have the effort, or we don't want to put the effort, because let's face it, Jamaica has never changed. It will not change unless, as Bob Marley so eloquently put it, we have to free our minds from mental slavery. A lot of us have went abroad, worked in professions like yourself and the gentleman on the phone. We have experience. We can come back and offer. But the locals, what I mean by locals, let me preference that, the people that are currently in government, both GLP and PMP, will not let that happen, because we will see what you're educating us about, just how the system is. And I thank you so much for the education that you've been giving us on how the history of the plantocracy and the colonialism has happened across the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we understand that it is for a reason. Every country sort of has a similarity in government. It's for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
If the people are uneducated and they're worried about the three Maslow's law, food, roof over their head, and clothes on their back. Excuse me, Patois.
Yeah, man. No.
They don't have time.
Yes.
They don't have time to be creative.
Yeah. They don't have time. They don't have time to challenge. They have no time to challenge the elites who want to keep them that way.
Correct. Like, for instance, Jamaicans, to me, are the most creative, the most ingenuity on anything. You get them something for them. People find out, don't forget around it, when they could use that creativity for positiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaicans, to me, it's like we don't love ourselves, but once we come out of Jamaica and we're there abroad and we see another Jamaican, we have so much love for our brethren, but when we're there yard, we want to fight one another, we want to bring them one another.
Yeah, because we're hungry.
I just don't understand.
No,
that.
because when we're there yard, what's your name again? Mark, you said, right? Mark? Richard. When we're there yard, Richard, here we're going. We're hustle every day. The sun a burn, it hot, we're hungry. We're trying to figure out how we're going to make ends meet. I mean, I see a lot of people here desperate. You look in their eyes, they're desperate. They just want to find a way out. Why do you think scamming is so big here now? Why do you think women are the last persons to take certain risk? And right now in Jamaica, we have gotten so low that our women are now taking the risk to engage in massive fraud in the good companies they're working for, in the relatively good jobs that they have. You never used to have women. You used to be able to trust women with money. You understand? When you won't hire a man to deal with the accounts and whatever, you say, yeah, man, we can hire a woman because they're more. Now we have gotten so low that even our women now are highly engaged in criminal activities, white collar crime as they call them, and all of that. So when we're here, we're suffering and struggling so much. Now, when we go abroad, what happened? Even a person abroad, like let's say go to America or Canada, you're making minimum wage or something a little bit more than that. For some reason, your minimum wage there, for example, in Jamaica, what's minimum wage here? We're like right now about $250 an hour, right? That is nothing, right? You divide that by
Yeah, that's pittance,
yeah,
Mr. Patterson.
yeah. In a
That's
Canadian
pittance.
in Canadian dollars, it's about $2.45 or so an hour. Now, a Canadian working minimum wage, let's say in Toronto, is probably making $15 to $16 an hour compared to $2.50. Now, it's still challenging, for the Canadian, but they can live a certain level of life, which includes still going to the grocery store and getting a few groceries that makes them feel like they have earned some money. They can still pay a little bit of rent depending on where they are, and so on. In Jamaica here, the sufferation is so great that it deteriorates the social fabric. So now we can't socialize properly because we're out to eat each other. We're antisocial.
Right, right.
We're aggressive. But
I,
continue your
I
point.
understand, Mr. Patterson.
Yeah.
Yeah, the system, they,
Yes.
as long as they're the people uneducated, they will not know that they're actually, the politicians are raping the Jamaican people, the poor people, and taking the money. There's no accountability. I'm an IT engineer. I work in the cloud infrastructure. And Mr. Patterson, I tell you this, it's easy to set up a system out there for the police force. When they drive around wirelessly, they be connected at real-time speed. There's no reason why we don't have automated systems to catalog and be efficient at gathering data and making collectively good decisions. And Jamaica, like you said, with the industries that you want to start, I think that's the best thing, because man can't make water, man can't make food, and we have to live and
Absolutely.
eat right. That stuff is paramount. It's paramount in the world, and I think it's a good idea. But Jamaica, the politicians don't want the system to be automated. They don't want IT. They don't want none of that stuff, because they want to be able to manually override and steal and have uneducated people, and they don't want the diasporans to come in and do any kind of work, because we see what they're doing.
Exactly.
And
So
we have experience to know that. I mean, all the politicians, they're just eloquent with words. They can have a good speech like Nigel Clark. He's good at speaking, but he's not speaking to the common Jamaican person. He's speaking to his people that are above him, his bosses, to let them know we're going to continue the status quo of keeping the country in debt and not producing anything. I mean, just look at the United States. As long as the United States will always be a slave to the rest of the world, because we're not producing anymore. We want to outsource. Do you know how easy it is to actually, Mr. Patterson, educate the youth out there in high-level IT, so we can actually come abroad and get the bigger contracts and have these kids earn very good U.S. wages and lift themselves out of poverty? You don't have to go to school to be an IT. You can study any of these platforms. All they want is that you can do the job. You don't have to have a degree. Just some kind of trade in these applications and these technology, and then you can come and bid on these contracts. Have the call center, have engineers that are at high level 1, level 2, and level 3. It's easy to do. But see, the oligarchs out there and the private sector, they don't want to invest in IT and make these technologies available for the youth that can go online and learn. I mean, do you know how much information is online that someone can just sit down and just absorb anything they want to learn and then turn around and just be productive? It's easy. It's not hard. There's so much companies out over here that are willing to give away free stuff, free IT courses, applications, labs, anything that a child would need if they want it. that would lift us out of poverty, so we can turn around and take these monies and invest in Jamaica, in the youth, and in these. And there won't be time for bad man to start around people because I'm busy working. Every bad man have picnic. They want them kids to come up better than them. I don't know any parent that don't want their children to do better than them. Everybody wants that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I think you have a
The,
good
the,
plan.
the only people who don't want that seems to be our political leaders.
Yes, they don't. And it's funny, Mr. Patterson, why is it that the worst oppressors are the ones that are the same color as we are? Why is it like that?
Well, you see, if you look at how Jamaica evolved, right? If you look at 1962 when we got independence, you go back and watch the footage and watch the tape. If you notice, from Bustamante down, they were in awe of their white masters. You watch carefully. You watch all the tapes. They almost left a trip over themselves to welcome the so-called royal people and their entourage here. So independence was not about we the people. Independence was about our gods, our lords, our angels, our holy white folks. And I'm not saying white from a racist standpoint. I'm just saying the kind of mindset that our leaders had. So if you watch the tapes carefully, the focus of, even at the very center of the parliament, was the royal people, what they call royal. And they were sitting in the center and they're giving us the instrument of our independence. They're giving us something and we are so happy, so joyful, so reverent, so in awe that they're giving us. So our leaders were never really in tune with the liberation of our people. They hijacked that from Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was about liberating us as a people. They were about occupying the seat of the oppressors. And they have done that very well. They have maintained a system where they occupy the seat of our oppressors. And so they want to keep that. So the Nigel Clark, the Andrew Holness, the Mark Golding, all of them, PJ Patterson, all of them simply came. And it's like, for example, if you see a person in a job yet and him suck up to the boss them so him can get a little position in the middle. And if him get that position there, he will do anything. He will clean their shoes, clean their bottom, whatever, just to make sure him keep that little middle position there, because him knows say, hear what happened, Richard. If Jamaica become a truly free and open market economy, many of these people will never have any position of substance because they have no real competence to hold those positions. They must avoid competition at all costs. Because, for example, it's clear that many of the things that they're supposed to manage, they can't manage it. I could go through a litany of items in Jamaica, and you just did, some areas. They're afraid because they cannot deal with it. So why would they then allow the other Jamaicans to rise up? They want to leave. Like if you were living here, Richard, they would want you to go get a job abroad and leave Jamaica so that they can keep Jamaica here by themselves. You must go ahead and just send back some remittance to help your poor family to send your cousin to school or your niece to school or whatever. But don't come back here and get involved in them business. They want to control Jamaica, keep the masses where they are, so that they can continue to borrow on the heads of the masses, thief some of that money, and then keep the system going, and Jamaica end up where it is going to end up in the end, which is just like a Haiti. You understand?
Yeah, that's where it's going, because look at all the natural resources we have, look at all the industries that we had that they just sold off or actually gave away, like here Jamaica, JPS, all the JOS system, that bus system that we had was very good. I mean, there's a lot of things that I grew up seeing that when I grew up now and I'm a man and I can look back with actually not education, but the experiences that I had in life with the jobs I've had, I realized that these people were just willingly mismanaging Jamaica.
Yes. I mean,
and the problem is we don't know our history. We don't know that we come from royalty. We don't know that. we listen to the history that, you know what, Napoleon said, he said, history is agreed upon lies. I'm paraphrasing, right? So the history that they give us is just what they agreed upon to perpetrate through the entire world. We don't know that we actually come from royalty. Look at how the race, anything that we put our hand in, it becomes profitable. Any sports that we get into, we rule it, we run it. We don't have to, with the natural abilities that we have, I can see that now. And I went to school late, finished up, but I'm telling you, Mr. Patterson, Jamaica has a lot of diasporans with experience that could come back and run the positions that need be. I believe this, and I'm an old-fashioned person. I believe in the good old book. We don't need politicians to run Jamaica. We need honest people. God give us a brain. We know what is right and what is wrong. That's why in every era, murder is murder, lying is lying. We have something concrete, foundational that we anchor to, and we know that's the case. The good old book says to every man there's given a measure of faith. You don't need politicians to run Jamaica. You need honest people with the professions that they've acquired and the talents in life, and they can put it to good use and look out for their fellow brethren and not treat people that are less educated than them beneath them. As a matter of fact, the good book says the greatest leaders are servers. We need to serve one another and lift one another up, esteem one another better than ourselves. If our brother lacks what you have, you help him. You don't just thief from him or, put him down and don't educate him. I don't understand. And Jamaica's getting worse. It's not like back in the days you had bad man that had some kind of respect for certain things. Today you have just the wicked. Things are just getting worse, Mr. Patterson. And I see where you want a better Jamaica. I believe it can happen, but it can only happen if Jamaicans are willing to take off the mentality that we've so been entrenched to and believe that we can have a better Jamaica in the 21st century, regardless of what's going on in the world.
I think the Jamaican people are ready. The only problem we have is that a few of us are going to have to lead the way. The entire population won't be able to get up and do it. So what happened is a few of us, and by a few I mean a few thousand. Right now, if we had 1,000 Jamaicans around the world decided that, you know what, we want to take back our country. And so we're going to donate $25 a month, which gives the UIC $25,000 a month, which is a small amount, but significant. If we had that amount of money, it means we can get a candidate in every single division, the 228, and every single constituency, 63. And we can make sure that we have enough funds to go around the island and communicate outside of the traditional media. Because the traditional media is controlled by the oligarchs, right? By the PSOJ oligarchs, the same ones who fund the two. So if we, the Jamaican people, those of us who can hear, and not all of us can hear, there are many persons who can't hear, not just because of the lack of access to the technology, but they can't hear because they're blinded by the UIC's limitation right now and the excitement of the other two parties. So they can't see clearly. So we have to help them. So if you have a few Jamaicans, let's say 1,000 Jamaicans in the diaspora, and 1,000 Jamaicans here at home decide we are going to donate to this party on a consistent basis so that we have a little bit of funds to be able to go around all 14 parishes, all 63 constituencies, all 228 municipal divisions, and get into the nook and cranny and talk to the people, connect with the people, be able to put out some good productions, as advertisement throughout the different channels and reach the people where they are so that they can have hope. They can now hear from us. They can now see that there's another way. If we do that, I guarantee you that these two parties are out. And I'll tell you why. If you look at the voting pattern in the last 3 elections, 48% didn't vote, 52% didn't vote, and in the last election, 63% didn't vote. The Jamaican people are tired of these two parties, but they need a push, and that push has to come from just 1% of the diaspora just 1%, and 2% of the Jamaican population here at home, together, that 1% of the diaspora and 2% of the local Jamaican population, that is all it takes to completely switch from these two parties to the UIC for us to implement a much better system of governance. If we do that, and when we do that, we shall have the Jamaica that we want for so long. So thank you very much, Richard, for being on.
Yeah, man.
Have a good night.
You too, Mr. Patterson.
Take
Thank you
care.
so much for taking my call.
Good. All right, my friends, we are now at the 2-hour mark. I didn't plan to stay that long on tonight, but thank you for being here with us, those of you on TikTok and those of you on UIC Liberty TV and on Facebook who are joining us right now, and on UIC Jamaica on YouTube as well. Please like, subscribe, and share to help us to reach as many Jamaicans as possible. We can do it. One Jamaica, stronger together. Let us work on this. Let us not give in or give up. Let us not lose heart because things don't go as fast as we'd want. Nothing that is worthy in life comes quickly or easily. So we just have to work together to make it happen. All right? Thanks again. Have a good night. Have a great weekend until we talk again. Take care. Bye-bye.